Hey, it's Nate. Today I want to show you exactly how to find chord charts to your favorite tunes using a really cool website. I've talked a lot about how the fastest way to learn songs on piano, especially pop and rock songs, is using a chord-based approach. It can speed up the learning of songs from months to days compared to sheet music or memorizing note by note. Most songs can be boiled down to a progression of chords, usually 3-note major and minor chords called triads. Check out this video to learn the formula for finding any triad quickly, and I've got one on 7th chords as well, which also come up in a lot of these songs. Once you know how to find these chords, you can use a chords and lyrics chart to play and sing the song. Over time, you'll learn common ways to embellish these chords that you'll start to recognize in the songs you listen to. Instead of a mystifying sea of notes, music simply becomes patterns played over these known chord shapes that you can sort of batch process. That way you can learn songs quicker and play much more intuitively. Of course, to start learning a song this way, you'll need that chord chart. That's where that website I mentioned comes in, and I've got some cool tricks for that, like automatically transposing songs into different keys. I'll also show you how to use rhythms and arpeggios to spice things up and make your playing sound more musical. So let's say I want to learn Knockin' on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan. I would do a Google search for Knockin' on Heaven's Door chords. Usually the first result is from a site called Ultimate Guitar, and that's the site I want to talk about today. So click that, it'll take you to a chords and lyrics chart here, but there's a lot of details on this site and I want to make sure you get the most out of it. And for this website to work the way I'm showing you, you'll need to be on a desktop or a laptop computer. On mobile devices, they prompt you to download and use their app, which is totally a route you can take, but it's not how I like to do it. First thing to note, these are user-submitted chord charts, and there are usually a few different options. We can see here in the upper left. Notice we landed on version 2, which happens to have way more stars than the others, so the community of users has determined that this is the best one. So I would start with that. But it's not always the case that you land on the highest rated one first, so it's definitely worth checking. Now, using the formula from my triads video, ideally you'll know how to find any piano chord on your own, but hey, when you're using this site, you can switch from the guitar mode to piano mode here. That'll give you handy diagrams of the chords you need, and you can also see those by hovering over the chords throughout the chart. So we can start blocking out these chords. We've got this G, a D, an A minor, and a G, D, C. And looking at the verse, I could just start singing along. Mama, take this badge off of me. I can't use it anymore. At the end of this video, I'll show you some ways to make this sound more pro, but first let me just go over some other features of the site. And I mentioned these chord charts are user submitted, and sometimes they're not completely accurate. Often the one with the most stars is the best overall, but if you're learning it and say in the chorus there's this one chord that doesn't sound quite right to your ear, click on one of the other versions and you might find a more accurate option for that particular moment. One thing I love about Ultimate Guitar is it can easily transpose songs into different keys for you, which is super useful. And sometimes you need to use that just to get it to match the recording. I'll show you what I mean. So the first thing I check is up here at the top where it says capo. Capo is this tool that guitar players use to transpose a song into the right key. So you can play the chords of the song without the capo, or you can just slide it up to different frets to make the key higher, but you play it the same way. If instead of saying no capo here, it said, for example, capo 2, that would mean that to match the recording, guitarists would put the capo on the 2nd fret of the guitar and then play the chords as written. But for us piano players, we don't have that luxury. So to get it to match, we would come down here to this floating menu bar and hit the +1 button until it says transpose 2. But maybe you don't care about matching the recording and you just want to find the perfect key for your voice. You can experiment with these transpose settings until you find the right key. Say you did transpose it and it's up 3 steps higher starting on the A sharp. If you prefer to think in flats, you can click these dots over here and select use flats. Now we're seeing the A sharp as B flat instead. And there's a lot of little features here to customize your chord chart. And at that point, if you'd like to print out a copy and place it on your piano, you can come down here to this print button and it'll open up a cleaned up version of your chart that you can print out and follow along. Let's get back to playing though. There is so much you can do with this song. I'm going to show you quickly the steps I would take to turn these chords into a piano part. But first, if you are enjoying this video and you are not yet subscribed to the channel, you know what to do. I really do appreciate it. So like I said before, you can start with just your right hand playing out the chords. Mama, take this badge off of me. And you do have to use your ear. You'll notice the A minor is twice as long as the G and D. I can't use it anymore. Then we go to the C. And I'm gonna add a little bit more rhythm here to some quarter notes. It's getting dark, too dark to see. And again, twice as long on the A minor. Now it sounds a little bit thin and empty. You're gonna wanna add some left hand. For starters, single bass notes, just playing the note the chord is named after. So like this, feel I'm knocking on heaven's door. It makes it feel a lot more full and powerful. Now there's a lot of ways you can arrange the left hand. Octaves always sound great. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. And that gives you some options to use the different notes in your left hand to play different rhythms on. Also, fifths sound great, where you do the outside notes of the chords, just your first and fifth finger. You can always use an arpeggio where you play a pattern using the notes from the chord. I think the song sounds really nice if you take the 4 notes you're playing with a single left hand note and then the 3 notes of the right hand triad and just doing the lowest note and then just stepping up each other note. You gotta do it twice for the A minor. I can't use it anymore. Sounds really nice like that. I could do the whole song that way. It's getting dark, too dark to see. Eventually, you'll learn enough tricks that you can embellish this really as much as you want. Don't let that overwhelm you though. It still sounds great, nice and simple. But if you do want to learn more of these tricks for breaking your chord playing wide open like I just did, check out my course, Piano Chord Breakthroughs. All right, well, I hope this was helpful. I'd encourage you now to just go start experimenting with this. Look up a few of your favorite songs and have fun. Of course, some songs are more complicated than others. Some have a ton of chord changes in them. So you might need to try a few before you find the one that's a perfect fit with where you're at right now. Let me know how it goes in the comments and have an awesome day.